After 60, many of us are told that rising blood pressure is just part of getting older. The doctor might say it's inevitable. Friends might tell you, that's just how it goes. But what if I told you that isn't the whole truth? I know because I've been there. Just a few years ago, my blood pressure numbers crept up higher and higher. At first, I ignored it. I felt fine, no dizziness, no headaches, no chest pain. But when I finally went in for a checkup, my reading was higher than it had ever been. My doctor looked at me and said, "If we don't get this under control, you're heading toward medication." Now, I'm not against medication when it's needed. It saves lives. But something in me said, before I rely on a pill, I want to see what I can do naturally. I wanted to try everything in my power to help my body help itself. And what happened over the next few months surprised even my doctor. That's what I want to share with you today. Exactly what I did to lower my blood pressure naturally. These are not extreme, complicated, or expensive methods. They're daily habits and small lifestyle changes that anyone can start today, no matter your starting point. Whether you're trying to avoid medication, support the medication you're already taking, or simply take better care of your heart health, this video will give you a clear, realistic roadmap. We're going to talk about the morning ritual that set the tone for my entire day, the food swaps that made a bigger difference than I expected, the type of exercise that gave me the most benefit in the shortest time, the stress-busting habit I never thought I'd enjoy, the nighttime routine that supported my blood pressure even while I slept. You might be surprised by how doable these are. No fad diets, no hours in the gym, no expensive supplements, just real practical changes that add up. So if you're ready to take control of your numbers, protect your heart, and feel more energized in the process, let's get started. I still remember the day my blood pressure first became a concern. I was sitting in the clinic watching the nurse wrap that cuff around my arm. I'd done this many times before, always expecting the numbers to be fine, but this time, I saw her expression change slightly as she read the monitor. She didn't say much, just, "Let's take it again." The second reading was just as high. When the doctor came in, he explained that blood pressure is often called the silent killer, because it can cause serious damage for years without showing obvious symptoms. High blood pressure can put strain on the heart, damage blood vessels, and increase the risk of stroke, heart attack, and kidney problems. Hearing those words hit me hard. Up until that moment, I thought I was doing enough for my health. I took walks occasionally, ate what I considered a fairly healthy diet, and kept myself active around the house. But the truth is, I had slipped into habits that weren't serving me: too much salt in my meals, not enough daily movement, irregular sleep, and stress that I brushed off as normal. The real wake-up call was thinking about my future. I didn't want my golden years to be spent in and out of doctors' offices, managing more and more medications, and feeling limited in what I could do. I wanted to be strong, independent, and capable to travel, to spend time with my grandkids, to keep my mind sharp. That's when I made the decision. I was going to do everything in my power to lower my blood pressure naturally. I began reading, researching, and speaking to health professionals. I learned that while genetics do play a role, lifestyle changes can have a huge impact. Even small adjustments, when done consistently, could shift the numbers in the right direction. And I can tell you this, the journey wasn't perfect, and it didn't happen overnight. But step by step, my readings began to improve. My energy came back, my sleep got better, and I felt more in control of my health than I had in years. The first change I made was surprisingly simple. I started each day with hydration. Now you might be thinking, I already drink water, but I want to explain why how and when you drink it matters for blood pressure. After sleeping for 6 to 8 hours, our bodies are mildly dehydrated. Blood volume can be slightly reduced, and our heart has to work harder to circulate it. Drinking a full glass of water first thing in the morning helps restore fluid balance, supports healthy circulation, and eases the workload on the heart. But I didn't stop there. I learned that certain minerals, especially potassium and magnesium, play a huge role in regulating blood pressure. Potassium helps counteract the effects of sodium, relaxing blood vessel walls, and helping the body get rid of excess fluid. Magnesium supports muscle relaxation, including the muscles in our blood vessel wall. So my morning ritual became this. Right after waking up, I drink a large glass of water with a squeeze of fresh lemon, for flavor, and a small pinch of mineral-rich sea salt. Just enough to support electrolyte balance, not enough to add unhealthy sodium. Then with breakfast, I make sure to include potassium-rich foods, like a banana, a handful of spinach, or a small serving of yogurt. This simple change made a noticeable difference in my energy levels and my morning reading. In fact, within a couple of weeks, I started to see slightly lower blood pressure numbers, especially in the mornings when mine used to be at its highest. One friend of mine, Linda, 64, tried this and called me after 2 weeks, saying, "I can't believe something so small makes me feel this good." It's not a magic trick, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to function well, starting with the first thing you put in it each day. If you're looking for an easy first step to support healthier blood pressure, start with hydration and mineral balance. It costs almost nothing, it's easy to remember, and it sets a positive tone for the rest of the day's habits. One of the biggest wake-up calls in my blood pressure journey was realizing just how much hidden sodium I was consuming, and it wasn't just from the salt shaker on my table. Processed foods, canned soups, sauces, deli meats, even bread, all of these were sneaking in far more sodium than my body needed. Now, sodium isn't the enemy in small amounts. In fact, our bodies need it to function. The problem is when we get far more than necessary, it pulls water into our blood vessels, increasing the volume of blood and putting extra pressure on the heart. That's why excess sodium is one of the top contributors to high blood pressure. The first step I took was becoming a label reader. I started checking sodium content in everything I bought, aiming to keep my total daily intake under 1,500 milligrams, which is what many heart health experts recommend for people managing high blood pressure. You'd be amazed how quickly sodium adds up if you don't pay attention. The second step was finding flavorful swaps, so I wouldn't feel deprived. I began cooking more at home, using fresh herbs, garlic, lemon juice and spices to season my food instead of relying on salt-heavy sauces or seasoning. For example, instead of seasoning chicken with pre-made mixes, which can be loaded with sodium, I'd use paprika, thyme, black pepper and a squeeze of fresh lemon. I also swapped canned vegetables for frozen ones, with no added salt, and when I did use canned beans or vegetables, I'd rinse them under water to remove some of the excess sodium. Within weeks, my taste buds adjusted. Foods I once thought needed extra salt started tasting perfectly fine without it. And here's the bonus. By lowering sodium, I wasn't just helping my blood pressure, I was also reducing water retention and feeling less bloated. My friend Harold, 67, told me he did this swap, and not only saw his blood pressure drop, but his rings started fitting better, because his fingers weren't as puffy. If you've never tracked your sodium before, start today. The smart salt swap is one of the most powerful and immediate changes you can make for your blood pressure, and it doesn't require giving up flavor, just getting creative. When I first started focusing on lowering my blood pressure naturally, I knew exercise was important, but I also knew I wasn't going to become a gym rat at 60. I needed something simple, sustainable, and enjoyable enough that I'd actually stick with it. That's when I discovered the power of purposeful walking. Walking sounds almost too simple to make a difference, but here's what I learned. When you walk at a brisk, steady pace for just 20-30 minutes most days, you're strengthening your heart muscle. A stronger heart pumps blood more efficiently, which means less pressure on your arteries. At first I started small, just 10 minutes around my block after breakfast. But I made it a habit, and gradually, I worked up to 25 minutes at a pace that got my heart rate up but still allowed me to talk without gasping for air. The goal was moderate intensity, not an all-out sprint. The beauty of walking is that it's low impact, requires no special equipment, and can fit into almost any lifestyle. I also made it more enjoyable by listening to audiobooks, calling a friend while I walked, or simply using the time to clear my head and enjoy the outdoors. One important tip I learned from my doctor was to keep a consistent routine. Walking at the same time each day trains your body to expect movement, which can help regulate blood pressure more effectively. Morning walks worked best for me because they set a positive tone for the rest of the day. Within a month of walking regularly, my blood pressure readings started shifting in the right direction. My resting heart rate also went down, and I felt more energetic throughout the day. I remember bumping into my neighbor, Sam, who's in his He asked why I seemed lighter on my feet lately. When I told him about my walking routine, he joined me a few mornings a week. A couple of months later, he said his own doctor noticed an improvement in his blood pressure too. If you're looking for an exercise that's effective, gentle and easy to stick with, walking with purpose could be your secret weapon. It's free, it's flexible, and your heart will thank you for every step. When most people think about high blood pressure, they focus on diet and exercise. But one factor that's often overlooked, and was a huge game changer for me, is stress. Chronic stress triggers the body's fight or flight response, flooding it with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, these hormones can cause blood vessels to constrict and keep blood pressure elevated. The tricky thing is that many of us over 60 think of stress as just part of life. We've gotten used to it. We tell ourselves, that's just how things are. I was the same way. I had years of built-up habits where I'd stay busy all day, worry about things I couldn't control, and never truly let my body relax. When I learned the connection between stress and blood pressure, I decided to experiment with something I'd always dismissed, daily relaxation ritual. For me it started with deep breathing, just 5-10 minutes of slow focused breaths each morning and evening, helped activate my body's relaxation response. It sounds so simple, but breathing deeply tells your nervous system that you're safe, and your heart rate and blood pressure respond almost instantly. I also added a short stretching routine before bed, not a workout, just gentle movements to release tension from my neck, shoulders and back. Paired with calming music or even complete silence, it became something I looked forward to. Some days my relaxation ritual was sitting in a chair with a cup of herbal tea, watching the sunrise. Other days it was a short meditation, using a guided audio track. The point wasn't perfection, it was consistency. Just like brushing my teeth, I made relaxation a non-negotiable part of my daily health routine. The results were noticeable. On days when I skipped my relaxation time, I'd often feel more tense and restless, and sure enough, my blood pressure readings would reflect it. On days when I kept the habit, my numbers were almost always better. A friend of mine, Diane, who's 68, started doing her own version, 15 minutes of quiet gardening every morning. She says it not only lowered her blood pressure, but also improved her mood and sleep. If you're not currently making time for relaxation, I encourage you to start with just 5 minutes a day. Over time, you can build up to more. It's not indulgence, it's essential maintenance for your heart and mind. One thing I didn't realize until I started my blood pressure journey is that sleep isn't just about rest, it's about repair. During deep sleep, the body works to repair blood vessels, regulate hormones and maintain healthy blood pressure level. Poor or inconsistent sleep can keep blood pressure elevated, even if your diet and exercise are on point. In the past, I was guilty of staying up late, watching TV or scrolling on my phone, and then wondering why I felt sluggish and tense in the morning. I often assumed sleep didn't matter as much as what I did during the day, but when my doctor explained the connection between sleep quality and blood pressure, I decided to take my nights as seriously as my morning. I created a simple nighttime routine, designed to signal to my body, it's time to wind down. First, I set a consistent bedtime, within the same 30-minute window every night. This trained my body's internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up naturally. An hour before bed, I turned off bright screens. The blue light from phones, tablets and TVs can trick the brain into thinking it's still daytime, delaying the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps us sleep. Instead, I'd read a physical book, listen to calm music or write a few notes in my gratitude journal. I also made my bedroom a true sleep zone. That meant keeping it cool, dark and quiet. I invested in blackout curtains and even a white noise machine to block out traffic sound. And because comfort matters, I made sure my mattress and pillows supported my body well. No waking up with aches and pains. Lastly, I had a calming pre-bed ritual. For me, that was a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea and 5 minutes of gentle stretching. For others, it might be prayer, meditation, or simply sitting quietly. The goal was to help my mind slow down, so my body could follow. The difference was remarkable. Within a few weeks, I was sleeping more soundly, waking up refreshed, and noticing better blood pressure readings in the morning. It was proof that good sleep isn't a luxury, it's one of the most powerful tools we have for heart health. If you're looking to support healthy blood pressure, don't overlook what happens after the sun goes down. Your heart works 24/7, give it the rest it needs to keep working for you. So let's take a moment to recap the 5 habits that helped me lower my blood pressure naturally after 60, and that can help you too. First, I started each day with morning hydration and mineral balance. A big glass of water with a squeeze of lemon and a touch of mineral-rich salt, plus potassium-rich foods at breakfast, gave my body the fuel it needed right from the start. Second, I made the smart salt swap, cutting hidden sodium from processed foods and using fresh herbs, spices and lemon juice for flavor instead. This small change had a big impact on my daily readings. Third, I committed to walking with purpose. Just 20-30 minutes of brisk walking, most days, not only lowered my blood pressure, but also boosted my mood and energy. Fourth, I introduced daily relaxation ritual. Deep breathing, gentle stretches and quiet moments of mindfulness helped me manage stress, one of the sneakiest contributors to high blood pressure. And fifth, I created a nighttime routine for heart health. Consistent bedtimes, screen-free wind-down time, and a comfortable sleep environment gave my body the rest it needed to repair and recover. Now I want to be clear, these aren't quick fixes. I didn't see changes overnight, but with consistency, the results came, and they've lasted. My blood pressure numbers improved, I felt more energetic, and I had a renewed sense of control over my health. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't try to tackle all 5 habits at once. Pick 1 or 2 that feel most doable right now. Maybe you start with morning hydration and a short walk. Once those become second nature, add another habit. The key is steady progress, not perfection. Remember, every choice you make for your health is an investment in your future. You have the power to change your numbers, your energy, and your quality of life, no matter your age. Lowering my blood pressure naturally after 60 has been one of the most empowering experiences of my life. It wasn't about chasing a perfect number, it was about building daily habits that support my body, my heart, and my future. If there's one thing I hope you take away from my story, it's this: your health is not set in stone. No matter your age, you can make changes that truly make a difference. And those changes don't have to be complicated, expensive, or extreme. Start small. Drink that morning glass of water. Swap one processed meal for something fresh. Take a walk around the block. Turn off your screens a little earlier tonight. Breathe deeply for 5 minutes. These simple steps add up, and over time, they can transform not just your blood pressure, but how you feel every single day. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits will you try first? Share your answer in the comments below. You never know who you might inspire. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new tip on staying healthy, active and independent after 60. Your heart has been working hard for you your whole life. Now is the time to return the favor. Stay well, stay strong, and remember, the best time to take care of your health is today.